Welcome back to the Shipyard. Today we are talking about fighters, Federation fighters, starting with Fighter Squadron 6. The top token gets 6 attack dice, no agility, 1 hull, and 1 shield. Now before I get too far in, I should talk a little bit about the way that fighters work. Fighters are unique in that they have a stack of tokens. Whenever they take damage, they can only lose 1 token. So for named fighters that have 5 tokens, it takes 5 attacks to kill them. Each time you do damage, typically their attack goes down and their agility goes up, so they become a little harder to hit because there are fewer fighters, but their firepower goes down, so they're a little less of a pain. Federation fighters are good because they have a shield, so they take 2 hits to actually damage and destroy. The downside to them is that they only have 2 actions on their action bar, and that is target lock and evasive maneuvers. So if they're up against a cloaked ship, well, they're evading. The named ability for Fighter Squadron 6 is that when they're attacking a ship at range 1, if that ship has at least 1 damage to its hull, during the modify attack dice step, add 1 hit result to your roll. I cannot tell you how much this ability kicks butt. It is one of those things that makes your opponent cry, because it's an extra damage once they're already hurting. It is just damage on top of damage on top of damage. Big ships are currently the thing that is dominating the game. Voyager, Scimitar, Bioship, Borg, those are all things that have relatively high hull value. The lowest that I named is Voyager with 4, but we're talking Scimitar that has 7 hull, Regent's flagship that has 7 hull, Borg that has 6, 7, or 8. Fighters just do more. In addition, their dial is outstanding. They have every 1 maneuver, including a come about. The hard turns are white, the come about is white. Same thing with the 2s. And they have 3 straight and banks. The downside is that they don't have a 4 straight. Big whoop. You just go 3 bank one direction, 3 bank the other direction. You're still facing straight, and you've done the equivalent of a 4 straight both times. For the generic, you only get 4 tokens, meaning you are starting with only 5 attack and no agility. But you're only spending 20 points instead of 24 points, but you lose the named ability. It's not terrible if you want to have a second fighter squadron in your fleet. However, I should mention the rules about fighters. They have to have a ship with a hull value of 4 or more to act as a carrier or a capital ship. So if you want to have 2 fighters in your fleet, you have to have 2 carrier ships. Since you'd be spending 44 points on fighters before you put upgrades, that leaves you with 76 points for your actual ships. It's a trade-off, and it's something that you may want to do, you may not want to do, but that's a call that you're going to have to make. There are also resource fighters. These were from the Dominion War, month 6. They have 4 tokens, but they get a named ability, and that is if you initiate an attack at range 1, you may re-roll 1 of your attack dice. There's worse things. You can evade and still get a little mini target lock. I'd rather have these than the 20-point generic retail fighters, unless I'm using my resource for something else. But if I'm not using my resource, then these work very well. Still, there are better things to use a resource on. There are no captains in the pack, since fighters carry a initiative value with their tokens that also decreases as they take damage. But the retail fighters have squadron upgrades. The first one we have is attack formation. When attacking during the roll attack dice step, if you are within range 1 of a friendly ship, you may disable this card to set 1 of your attack dice on any result. That die cannot be rolled or re-rolled during that attack step. So the nice thing with this card is that you're basically guaranteed a crit. The downside is that you're spending an action to re-enable it on a future turn, and at the end of the day, I don't think that that's actually worth it. So proceed with caution on this card because I don't think it's worth it. Next up we have Attack Wave. When attacking during the roll attack die step, you may disable this card to gain +1 attack die for that attack. No ship may be equipped with more than 1 attack wave upgrade. Alright, here's where we get into a decent card. Later on, when the fighters have taken some damage, they're rolling 2, 3, attack dice. This lets you get up to an extra attack. Also early on, 5 or 6 going up to 6 or 7 can also be good. The nice thing is, you can leave it disabled and never re-enable it unless you have a turn where you don't need to target lock or can't target lock, and there's no point in evading because nobody can shoot at you. Attack Wave's an upgrade that I'd actually take because, hey, you know what? More firepower, worthwhile. Coordinated attack. When attacking, during the declared target step, if you do not have a battle station token beside your ship, you may disable this card to place a battle station token beside your ship. Well, that's good, because target lock plus battle station is almost guaranteeing you that every die you roll is a hit. For 3 points, I love this card. It's making your attack dice do more. And anytime you can do that, you're ensuring quality. I throw this on my named Fed fighters almost every time I play them. Cover fire. When defending during the roll defense dice step, you may discard this card to add a number of defense dice to your roll equal to your current primary weapon value. This is useful in the first round if you are getting shot at range 3. Because fighters cannot fire at range 3, you would want to use this to save yourself for a round so that you can hopefully still have your best attack to shoot in the next round of engagement. It's not the best thing. It's points that you're focusing on defense, and fighters already do defense fairly well in that they cannot be one-shotted. That's something you have to take into consideration. But there is a use for cover fire. It's something that you want to take a look at. Next, we move to defensive maneuvers. When defending during the declare target step, you may disable this card to place an evade token beside your ship, even if there is already one there. Again, another card that helps with defense. If you want to combine it with cover fire, you would have a very defensive fighter squadron, and that could make what's already annoying to kill even harder to kill. I would save defensive maneuvers for late in the game, so that you're already rolling 2-3 defense dice, and now they have to go through that defense dice plus 1 or 2 evade tokens. It makes your fighters almost impossible to kill, which denies them points, and hopefully you can win a game on fleet points. Squad Leader. At the start of the combat phase, you may add +2 to your captain skill until the end phase. If you do so, place an auxiliary power token beside your ship. Or, action. Target a friendly ship at range 1 to 2, and perform the action listed on its captain card as a free action. Alright, now we're getting into possible combinations. You want to target Archer and get extra attack dice? Okay. How about Martok 9? Sounds good to me. There's a huge list of captains, which I'm putting on the screen right now, that Squad Leader can work with. It's an option if you want to go there. For the same reasons that Martok 8 is great in that he gives a ship a free action, Squad Leader starts to help with that. I don't know that you absolutely need it, but it's a piece of a puzzle if you want it to be there. So Squad Leader is situational, but it can be good. Second to last, we have Support Ship. When your last attack squadron token is destroyed, discard this card instead of removing that token. No ship may be equipped with more than 1. So basically this is cheat death for fighters. And yeah, it's only your last token, which is the worst one you can possibly have. On Fed fighters, it's a 2 attack, 3 defense. Judge that for what it is, but still, it is saving you 20 points, and that might make the difference in winning or losing the game. It's another attack that they have to get through in order to actually kill you. Lastly, we have Tactical Pattern Theta. If you damage an opponent's hull with a crit, you may immediately disable this card to search the damage deck for a weapons malfunction or munitions failure card, instead of drawing a random damage card. Just as a reminder, weapons malfunction is the card that reduces an opponent's attack value by 1, and munitions failure is the card that makes an opponent discard a secondary weapon. So in conjunction with the Fed fighter's named ability to put extra damage on a ship once it already has full damage, you're really looking at putting a hurting on somebody. This is a win more card, and I don't know that you absolutely need it, but if you feel like you do, by all means take it. So overall, I really like fighters. Now, they have reaching complications for the game at high-level tournaments. But from a casual perspective, bringing in one fighter squadron or a couple in big games is fun. They change the pace of the game. They give you an extra tool, they make your opponent think differently, and it's fun to fly something that takes a while to kill. Fighters are a great tactical piece. They are not the be-all and end-all of this game. They do not win everything. They are not the answer. But they are a great complementary piece. They can help a build do what it does better because they distract. They sting. They're like a bee. They just get in there and they do work. So if you haven't gone into fighters, take a look at them. If you have, you already know why they're good. Either way, I hope that this video has helped you learn something more about fighters, and I hope that you will continue to comment and like, subscribe to the Shipyard. Thank you guys so much. Take care.